We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
Welcome to Liberty Nation Radio here on the Radio American Network. There's another war in Israel, and the death toll has reached the thousands. On today's special edition, we'll be examining every facet of the ongoing conflict. We're fortunate to have with us a voice who can hopefully bring some much-needed clarity on the situation in Israel. And now this is a retired Air Force pilot and former Principal Deputy Undersecretary of Defense Controller, I think I've got that right, who also happens to be Liberty Nation's National Security Correspondent, Mr. Dave Patterson.
Mark, great to be with you.
Good to have you on again. Now, Dave, it's as you know, this whole show, we're going to be talking about the Israel situation now. Israel, it's been involved in a host of military engagements since 1948. Now, some of those are short-lasting, like the Six-Day War and the Yom Kippur War of 73, which you and I were talking about just before we started recording, which I think was about 20 days. And there were others that really drew out and just became part of the daily life for the Israeli people, like the South Lebanon conflict, which I think that was maybe 15 or 16 years. Now, this most recent thing with Hamas that's taking place right now, do you feel this is something that's going to be short-lived or long-term, or has a Rubicon been crossed and we're now in a whole new arena of conflict different to any others?
I think that it's probably going to be a much different conflict than Israel has experienced, nor has the United States and its support for Israel experienced. The magnitude and the violence and the just simply horrific behavior on the part of the murderous terrorists that came across Gaza is it's been significant, and I think that as Prime Minister Netanyahu has said very eloquently, there will be a price to pay, and it will be more than they have ever experienced before. However long that takes is going to be determined by how violent Israel comes into the Gaza.
Okay, so you've had obviously within Gaza, there's the Palestine Liberation Organization, the PLO, that they say that they're in contact with world leaders to stop the progression of war. And firstly, I think my question has to be, are the PLO even relevant anymore? Are they even part of the equation that's taking place between Israel and Hamas? Because Israel's intention now is to destroy every specter of Hamas, right? And so are the PLO, are they genuine actors in this now? Are they actually seeking peace? Or I don't know, it's a strange situation because they haven't really been relevant for quite a while. Now they're piping up talking about peace, but is their version of peace really Israel just accept what's happened at the hands of Hamas and let's call it a day? Is that what they're after?
I think that's probably closest to the truth. I know Abu Abbas, the leader of the Palestinian Authority, has not been particularly effective, and like his predecessor, he, as one person put it, he never loses an opportunity to lose an opportunity. And so I don't think that the Palestinian Authority is of any particular significance. Their relevance may come more to the fore when Israel decides what to do with the Gaza Strip. But right now, I don't see the Palestinian Authority as being particularly relevant.
So you say it will come to the fore when Israel decides what to do with Gaza, and that's really the situation now, isn't it? It seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu, he's ready to go further in his retaliation, as he said he would. But could this be the end of, like, for example, I'm not really sure how to phrase this, but what we've seen over the last 75 years, could all that now be over within the next year because of the actions of Hamas and the retaliation of Israel? So could it be a situation where these things can never happen again because the situation no longer exists?
I think that there's that possibility. I think there's also the possibility that what Israel does will create a true alignment of some of the Arab nations that already dislike Israel, and that will start to make life a little bit more difficult. But as we have seen in the past, after past conflicts, 1967, Yom Kippur in 1973, and more recently the 2014 Hamas attacks. There will be a sense of tension in the Middle East, but at the same time, I think there is a growing understanding that in order for everyone to exist in a way that is beneficial, that they're going to have to make some accommodation on both sides. And I thought that there was great opportunity during Saudi Arabia, particularly having an agreement with Israel and joining the Abraham Accords, as did UAE. And there was hope there. And one would think that that's possible again, but not right away. But I do think there's going to be a new alignment. I'm not confident as to how that will look, but I think that Israel is going to, and rightly so, do what it has to do to make sure that Hamas is not an organization anymore, that it is simply wiped from the face of the earth. And for those in the immediate vicinity, that will be a good thing.
And so how do you see the future of the West Bank in particular, Dave?
I think the future will be calm if the Palestinians in the West Bank do not join with the Hamas initiative here. And we're starting to see Hamas called for riots and for the Palestinians in the West Bank to rise up. Whether or not they do and to what extent they do, I think will actually determine their future.
Yeah, there was actually a call from the former Hamas chief, Khaled Mashal, and he said, this was on Wednesday, and he said that all of those neighbors should rise up, and I think he said something like, to all the scholars who teach jihad, this is the moment for application. And I wonder if that was aimed at the civilians in the West Bank who really just want to go on with their lives and keep their families safe. And I think it was aimed at them. And I mean, does he still have a lot of sway, do you think? Do you think that kind of call to jihad has an appeal? I don't think it does to so many people who want to live, essentially.
I think you're right about that. I think that there is a greater incentive for the Arabs and Arab Israelis, Israeli Arabs, who live and work and have to live day to day in the West Bank as well as in Israel, that their motivation to exist will probably outweigh this foolish jihadist call to action.
Well, let's hope so. Dave Patterson, we'll be back with you after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
Don't get caught up in the media madness. Join our movement for free thinking and free speech at libertynation.com. Publishing news and analysis 24/7 with original articles by our team of authors who tell it like it is. Join us each week for online TV shows, The Uprising Podcast, and Liberty Nation Radio. We believe in free thinking and free speech. We are libertynation.com.